Hey guys, it's Marissa from Grow in the Flow, popping in here for Sunday for our card pull for the week ahead. We're going to tap into some collective messages here, and it's a full moon week. We are building up to a full moon in Virgo happening next Saturday, the 24th. So we're going to also be picking a card from the Queen of the Moon Oracle. I'm going to tell you about a very special offer I have for you to receive a free full moon reading for that Virgo full moon. And we're going to get into our week ahead spread. So if you are watching this on my free Empowerment Sharecast on Marco Polo, you know what we do. If you're catching this on one of my social media spaces, this is a preview of what we do each week. Over there in that space, we tap in for the collective energies using the tarot, oracle cards, and bring through intuitive messages for the collective. And then I also offer you a personal card pull if you would like one for this week ahead. So if you want to check that out, the link is going to be either here in the caption or in my bio. Feel free to drop me a message and we'll get you all set up. It's free, it's fun, it's tucked away from the noise of social media. I like to use that space to do special offers, pick a cards and other, you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes I'll just pop in there with something when I feel inspired too, but we always get our week ahead messages to start us off for the week. So I'm going to get into the cards here in a moment. This will be the card pull, and then I will come back on Marco Polo to record each of the days for the week ahead. We'll start with the energetic weather for the week and touch on a little bit of the astrological aspects. We have a few. First and foremost, it's Pisces season. So as of today, the sun in Pisces. Happy birthday to all the Pisceans out there. We'll talk a little bit about that watery, dreamy, sensitive, artistic energy and what you might be feeling today. And as you move through Pisces season, we'll talk about that too. And then, like I said, at the end, we'll get into the Queen of the Moon Oracle card that comes forward for an overarching message and talk a little bit about that. But the best way for you to really connect with these powerful energies is I'm having a special offer. I'm in the process of bookings are now open for the March Empowerment Pack. So anybody who would like to join me for the March Empowerment Pack will receive a fourth free reading, this bonus reading, the full moon in Virgo. So actually that will come up first. The first thing is you will receive the whole shebang. I tune in every full moon with the Empowerment Pack group where we, with our collective energies, I pick a very special spread that touches on the energies of that lunation, bring through some messages, as well as talk about the astrological aspects, any numerology or other things that are contributing, supporting altar elements. We use the crystals, the sprays, and all the goodies. And then we do some personal card pulls for you specifically around this full moon, which is going to be looking at what we are releasing, shedding, letting go, any things that we are forgiving and cycles that we are closing. And this is really special because we are closing out the astrological year. Now that the sun has moved into Pisces, we're in this final trip around the sun here with the zodiac wheel and moving into a new astrological year. So this is truly a great point in the journey to have a closing, and to that I will add clearing. I'm really feeling the intuitive words I brought in for this month here. The clearing has been coming up so much all month long, as it always does, but really feels potent with this full moon. So we'll talk a little bit about that here, but the best way to get guidance is part of that full moon reading that I'll be doing this week. So if you would like to get in on that and receive that for free, join me for the March Empowerment Pack, where we will do it all over again. We'll kick off March with a month ahead reading for you, and then 2 additional readings for the new and full moons in March. So I will also have information about that here with the video. Okay, let's get into our cards. This is the beautiful Mystic Soul Tarot by Christina Mitchell that we've been using all month long. It's gorgeous. We're really enjoying it. I'm going to tap into this one for our 5-card spread, and then we will pull our Queen of the Moon Oracle card from Stacey DeMarco. Okay, so bringing in our collective energies, and we will talk next about some of the energetic weather we're moving through right now, but how are you? That's really what's important, is feeling into how you are in this moment, how you're feeling, the things that are happening in and around you that are absolutely, there's so many synchronicities for many of us right now and what we're moving through and the focus that we may be getting brought into, being brought within, especially with this full moon coming in. We're going to have a focus on our health, our bodies, self-care, self-love, really getting into that aspect. At the same time, again, there could be a lot of emotions and feelings being stirred with now the Pisces energy coming in as well. So, wherever you are in that process, as I always say, just being gentle with yourself, getting grounded, coming back into the space where you are, taking a moment to breathe and moving through it, using these things as tools and recognizing that if you are having a tough time or feeling rather heavy, that the good news is, if we can look at it that way, in the idea that energetically you're right where things are at. These are the significant, yes, heavy energies that are streaming onto the planet right now that so many of us have been feeling, whether we're conscious of it or not. And so this helps to bring another layer for you to look at, what all may be contributing to that and how you can best navigate. So let's see what comes up this week. And now that I said all that, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see the the energy in the cards here, starting with Monday, which represents kicking it all off for us, kind of an overlighting theme for the week. With which card in the tarot? Let's see. Okay. Yeah. This is the Eight of Swords. So we could be feeling, again, that constriction, that feeling of needing to sort of expand beyond whatever is meeting the eye, or in this case, happening in the head as well, because there's perception to take a look at. There's the vantage point that we're seeing something from in this moment, and then there's the potential to expand beyond that perspective. So we'll talk about that. We'll see what other cards are coming forward to support that energy, but that's giving us a starting point here, the Eight of Swords. So Tuesday represents a potential block or challenge this week. Always interesting to see how that shows up. And like all of these cards, this is collective energy that we're tapping into. So some of these things could resonate more than others. You're always invited to take what resonates, leave the rest. There's always someone else there to pick it up. But it's always so interesting to see how these things play out for each of us in so many different ways. It's the frequency, the vibration of the energy that is so similar, that we're moving through. And this is how we can support each other as we flow. Okay. Tuesday's potential block or challenge coming in here. Yeah. I said it, right? Flow, right? Finding that middle point, finding that sweet spot in the center, bringing it back into balance, harmony, and calibration, and finding that place. And Virgo. So, oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Potential blocker challenge, this big old full moon that we might be feeling the heaviness of, indeed. So definitely getting that one. Okay. So we'll delve into that. Wednesday's card is our midweek blessing. So again, these are all going to get broken down by the day over on the Empowerment Sharecast, and that is available in real time. I'll be recording that in just a few minutes, that you are invited to watch along with me. And then as I'm able throughout the week, I also add these videos to my YouTube channel. So that's another place you can check it out if you haven't made your way over to the Empowerment Sharecast. But that's the quickest way. And you can just kind of pick, each day, if you want to watch it all at once, if you want to come back and check out like, oh, what was the Wednesday card? You're welcome to do whatever works for you. But that's also where I'm able to provide you with a free personal card pull. Wednesday is the day that marks our midweek blessing. So let's see what we have coming up. Water everywhere. Okay, yeah, it's Pisces season. So between that temperance energy and this King of Cups, What a gorgeous King of Cups. I have not seen this card yet in this beautiful deck. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So this is embodying the energy of the cups, which brings us into the element of water, brings us into the feels, the heart chakra. So definitely seeing that growth that's happening there underlit the moon, you know, so there's definitely this very strong connection here to what we are cleansing and clearing and creating space with this full moon in Virgo. Thursday represents how we are growing. So how we are growing as we're flowing. What do we have coming forward for Thursday? Yes, the Chariot. Okay, yeah. So there is forward movement. There's balance. And like I said, I'm feeling this recalibration and again, lightening the load. You know, one of the things I say about the Chariot is, you know, before we go on any trip, being that the Chariot represents that movement, vehicles, you know, we're making sure that the Chariot is ready, right? The vehicle is prepared, that there's, you know, air in the tires, that the oil is changed. And also clearing out the junk in the trunk. That's another thing I like to say about that. So again, this clearing is coming up for me where before we can roll forward, we're releasing any of this excess baggage that's not coming with. So that's something to look at here too, in the symbolism of, you know, what are we releasing, shedding, letting go, forgiving, creating space in the clearing before we move into this next chapter, this next phase that we're moving into on the other side of that full moon. Okay, one more tarot card coming forward for Friday, which is going to wrap up the week. Put a little punctuation mark there, and then we'll pull our Queen of the Moon Oracle for the full moon on Saturday. What do we have coming up to round it out? Okay, yeah, so we're you see this. Okay, let's look at the big picture. That's the Three of Swords, Friday. There's this energy bookending, right? So there's this feeling of this flow and movement, but we have these bookends here with these swords. And that's okay, because these swords represent the element of air, which connects in with the crown, with our thoughts, with our beliefs, with our understanding. And this holds the stories that we've been telling ourselves, that we've been playing out, you know, and this is what is ending. These are the chapters that we are turning the page on now. So again, we have to feel it to heal it. So these two cards are definitely bringing in this energy for us to bring to light, you know, bring that air up to the surface so that we can clear it, right? And allow for the new to come in. So we're going to get into that when we talk about a little bit of the energetic weather this week, and then roll into our 5-day spread. Let's pull our Queen of the Moon Oracle card to finish it all off, and then we will move into the next video for the energetic weather. Okay, let's see. What is coming up from the Queen of the Moon as an overarching energy message for this full moon in Virgo? Queen of the Moon message. We have coming up here. Okay. Ah, yeah. Okay. I love this. What are we incubating here? And we are definitely in this vulnerable place. This is definitely touching for me on that Virgo energy. Card 32 brings in the energy of 5, which is the frequency of change, which brings with it chaos and confusion and that turbulence that we're feeling in this transitionary time. So we're called to trust, right? To go within, to connect within. So we'll get into that when we talk a little bit about the moon. So once again, if you're coming over with me to the Empowerment Sharecast, we'll be on there now. If you're seeing this on social media, check the captions and let me know if you would like the link to join us. Otherwise, you can keep your eyes peeled for the subsequent videos that I will get posted on YouTube throughout the week. If you're interested in the special so that you can receive the bonus full moon in Virgo reading this week, do be sure to book the March Empowerment Pack by the 24th, by Saturday, so that I can be sure to get you your bonus reading. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Let's roll into the energetic weather. All right, let's get started with a little look at the energetic weather coming in this week, starting with today, the sun in Pisces. So we welcome in Pisces season. Happy birthday again to all the Pisceans. Pisces, the last sign of the zodiac. So this is that final chapter before we begin a new trip around the sun. We're closing this out. So this is compounded with the full moon that's coming in, this final trip where we really may be feeling a sense of closure, endings, completions, also feeling a sense of fullness or heaviness where, we've reached this full circle moment. And in some cases, the heaviness coming in is this awareness. Now I know these things that have come up that are here. And this to me is going to continue to build through Pisces season. So this could be something you're already feeling. Maybe hadn't quite put your finger on it. I'm highlighting that I'm feeling this Pisces energy, of course, because of the depths of that watery aspect of really getting in touch and in tune with emotions and the things that can kind of come up from the depths that we could then be feeling, be aware of that fullness of it that is coming up to be cleared and released prior to the beginning of the new astrological year that'll be coming in with Aries season. So, feeling that sense of completion, maybe feeling like you've reached this full circle moment and able to look back and really appreciate the journey that you've traveled through this last zodiac year, through the zodiac as you've come through. Pisces is that soft, intuitive, creative energy. So you could be feeling extra creative or even emotional, right? So some emotions coming in here across the weekend and of course into Pisces season. Dreams, definitely. Oh my gosh, me and my friends I even saw somebody online that I follow posting like, hey, who's good at researching dreams because I had this wild dream and I want to know what it means. I've been having these really vivid dreams. So my friends have been sharing that with me. So dreams, pay attention to that. If you haven't already been noticing, you could be having very vivid dreams or just significant, or just if you're somebody who doesn't usually recall dreams or say that you don't dream, you may be more aware of that. And it just may be something that you notice in the dreaming state as well. But yeah, definitely staying in a creative space, perhaps even connecting with loved ones. If you can be by the water, even better, to really embrace this energy. You have the whole Pisces season ahead of you, although I have a feeling we're going to be saying, wow, I can't believe that it's over before we know it, because time has just been crazily speeding along. It's nuts. So yeah, I'm already coming to you beyond the midway point of February. So as we find ourselves here, some of the other weather that we have energetically this week, February 23rd, we've got a few things happening. So I'm going to highlight Mercury in Pisces. So Mercury, the planet of communication, is moving into the sign of Pisces. And with Mercury in Pisces, communication and our thinking process can feel a little scattered. So we could be feeling extra indecisive or having a hard time pinpointing how we really feel about something. This is an opportunity to go with the flow. Trust your heart over your mind. And that's interesting because that's what we see here in our spread this week. Oh my gosh, right? Because our Queen of the Moon Oracle card is trust, right? So keyword trust there on the right with those ducklings and the egg and that word trust. And then we are flanked by the head space, the mind, the swords. But in the middle, we have this water energy that's coming in with the other cards. So we have this aspect of head and heart with the key word of trust. So that is pretty amazing that our spread is already speaking to us. We'll definitely be delving into that. Trusting your heart over your mind. If you're feeling this scattered energy, you can try to imagine flowing energy from your head into your heart and your lower chakras. And I'm actually going to point that out too with the long neck there of the duck or the goose that we see on top of the nest there on the trust card. Often I'll say this about the swans or giraffes, animals, totem animals that have those long necks, really representing this beautiful gateway, this bridge between the head and the heart. It gives us a nod to making sure that, yes, you have a big, beautiful brain and you think many thoughts, right? And a lot of things happen in that cerebral zone. So sometimes a little too much, right? So this is where there's this energy that we can imagine flowing from the head into the heart and cycling it through the filter of the heart and the gut, really getting in touch with how that feels in the body. So I'm feeling that coming in here along with the guidance for Mercury in Pisces on the 23rd. Also that day, Venus and Mars conjunct. So Venus and Mars, the two cosmic lovers, are coming together on this day. So this is actually a wonderful energy for bringing the divine masculine and feminine energies into balance. So you can work on creating that balance in your mind, body, and soul by setting intentions around your masculine energy and your feminine energy. So again, that's going to be the masculine is the fire, the yang, the action. The feminine is going to be the receiving, the yin, the holding, right? And just being. So setting some intentions around ways that you can get in touch with both of those frequencies. Maybe spend some time either meditating or journaling on what those qualities mean to you. And also, this could be a great time highlighting love and relationships. So if that's an area of focus for you, this can be some auspicious energy in that arena. So this energy of Mars and Venus combined can really help us to bring more of a balanced approach when it comes to seeking out a partner. And so yes, romantic partners, but any one that we are aligning with in some type of partnership. This can be some ideal energy for us to get some balance in that area as well. Also, it's noted that Venus and Mars are meeting at 8 degrees of Aquarius, and the 8th degree of Aquarius is said to bring the freedom needed to achieve our goals and highest vision. So there's that 8 again. So we know this is an 8 year, and we have this amazing frequency of abundance and manifestation flowing in continuously throughout this year. So here's another angle where we have an opportunity to really bring in some freedom and expansion towards achieving those goals. How perfect just before that full moon. So we're going to talk about the full moon. I'm going to touch on that when we bring in the Queen of the Moon Oracle card. So that'll be our final piece of the energetic weather puzzle for the week that I'll talk about at the end of our spread. We're going to move through Monday through Friday now, and then we will bring in that beautiful trust card and a little bit of tidbits on that Virgo full moon, where once again, I will share with you how you can get a free bonus reading for that Virgo full moon when you book the March Empowerment Pack. All right, guys, let's go ahead and roll now into our week ahead spread. All right, we're going to get things started for our week ahead spread, starting with our Monday card. So we are bringing in, setting the tone, we have the 8 of Swords. Now, here's the good news. What the 8 of Swords tells us is it's all about our perception, our perspective. So that means we have options. We have the ability to shift something which can absolutely transform our circumstances. I feel like this has already been happening for me in like the most basic, practical, everyday ways. I had shared yesterday here on the Sharecast a little chariot chat about my morning and the inclement weather and my worries about driving, and how they actually ended up being completely unfounded because we had some like super strange situation where even though we got 4 inches of snow, it didn't lay at all on any of the driving surfaces, and I had absolutely no problem. I didn't have to shovel. I didn't have to worry about the roads. They were just wet, and it was just a breeze, and everything worked out. And then today I had this big day of all of this driving I had to do and, getting kids to different places and making it all happen. And I had a series of events where, and, one of the things that I have found, and it's different between boys and girls, but, for those of you who may have already had kids where you are managing their social schedules and end up sort of revolving around their stuff. It's a wonderful thing, but my son was getting invited to go to his friend's house and do all these different things. And I'm thinking, I have this place I have to drive and this time I have to come back and maybe I'm relying on him to be here with his sister and then this and that. And it's just what I want to say is that all of these little things happened where I ended up having this wonderful solution that by his being invited somewhere, then his rides were taken care of and everything just fell together in a way that I never could have seen. I didn't see it. And that's what happens in the Eight of Swords is I thought, it's going to snow. Like, are they going to cancel it? No, they're not canceling it. All the stuff that I talked about yesterday on my chariot chat. And the message that I took from that was, I am open to abundance always in all ways. Well, the Eight of Swords is all about the thoughts in our head, the beliefs, our perspective and perceptions of what our options are. And there's this feeling of being stuck or having few options, limited, right? And in actuality, there's always abundance coming in for us. And there's ways that are like magical and miraculous, but like I said, it's so silly. Like I never would have imagined a scenario where the snow just didn't lay on the ground and it was no problem and they still got to do their thing, right? Or a scenario where my son actually had somewhere to hang out all day and had fun with his bud and now has a ride to and from his evening practice. So I'm here, I've got my slippers on, I've got nowhere to be, and it all worked out. And I didn't see that one coming. And in fact, for a moment, I even could have been having that feeling of overwhelm or angst about what I believed was the set of circumstances that I was moving through, right? Like I said, this is a silly minor example, but that's the point. That's all what this is. These cards are coming up to support us throughout our week, through the mundane, the day-to-day, and the big things and everything in between. So looking here at the mystic soul, Eight of Swords, we see that she's feeling stuck in between a bunch of thoughts, ideas, beliefs, stories, whatever those swords may represent. And, the Eight of Swords tends to highlight for us something that's rather self-imposed, these restrictions, right? Skewed perceptions, giving up too easily. So this is bringing us into our perspectives and the way that we're looking at things. And if we are feeling trapped, restricted in some way, we're invited to take a look at how we are actually limited by our own perceptions or our self-imposed circumstances. So the guidance here is about when negative thinking holds you back from changing your situation, take your own blinders off. You may feel stuck or powerless in your current situation, but in reality, you have more options and freedom than you realize. Be more mindful of your thoughts. Try to remain positive. Find the courage to break free from unnecessary constraints holding you back. You carry all the power here to transform your circumstances. So that's the beauty of this, is that, even though I might be feeling quite frustrated, irritated, limited, trapped even, as I say, the good news is it's all about my perspective. It's all about my perception and that a little turn of my head. And I love how we're being given that image of removing the blinders. And I love that because I immediately thought of our two horses over here on the chariot that's representing how we are growing and knowing that those horses would be wearing those blinders, to keep them focused. And so it may be that we've been really perseverating or focusing in a particular direction or, with some degree of intensity, that we're being invited to sort of pick our head up and look beyond that and expand beyond that. So if you're in any kind of a situation where you're feeling stuck or having limited options, there is this freedom and expansion on offer. And that feels very connected to what I was just talking about with the energetic weather and the energy of trusting and allowing for us to move from the head into the heart. Okay, so let's go ahead and see where that takes us as we move through the rest of the week, coming in next with Tuesday. Okay, Tuesday represents our potential block or challenge. So tapping in here to the collective energy, we've got the major arcana card of Temperance coming in here, which is absolutely demonstrating for us this frequency of flow, right? And this shifting from one to the other and being in the center point of that and finding that midway point. It's about balance, moderation, patience. And I was feeling it connected to the Virgo full moon in terms of, again, like we're really coming into this watery energy with the moon being full, with the energy of Pisces coming in and all of these deep feels. And there's all of this water flowing from one extreme to the other. And it's just tapping into a lot of these different things that I was just talking about with the highlighting of your divine masculine and feminine. You know, we've got the Chariot coming in here, which shows us those two opposing points as well that we'll talk about for Thursday. So Temperance is bringing in this energy of balance, harmony, and moderation. So it shows us here an angel with one foot in the water and the other on land. So there's this dipping our toe in, pouring the liquid between two cups, and it symbolizes balance and harmony, the integration of opposites and finding that middle path. So if this is blocked or challenged this week, you know, there can be difficulty in finding the midway, coming to the center point, you know, holding that neutral place when it comes to different extremes. So whether this is coming up in relationships and opposing views or dynamics and things that are at odds, or, you know, once again, if we're in this battle between the head and the heart, finding that midway point. So it can suggest a call for a time of patience, adaptability, and finding equilibrium in your life. So again, if you're feeling heavy, if you're feeling ungrounded, if you're feeling, you know, like you're needing to find that balance, this is what may be coming up for you with these energies for a potential block or challenge this week. But it invites us to blend those opposing forces and find that harmonious flow between the inner and outer worlds. And that's what I'm feeling, you know, with this Virgo full moon. We'll talk more about it when we get to our Queen of the Moon Oracle card, but it really is calling us to have that internal focus, you know, looking at our self, our sense of self and worth and care and caring for ourselves. And when I say health as well, on every level, mind, body, spirit, emotional, right? All of these different aspects and finding the balance and flow between all and becoming aware of those places where that is out of balance or maybe hasn't been completely harmonized, but not in a self-deprecating way, not in a chastising way. We're invited to actually celebrate the awareness now that once I can feel that a thing is heavy, now I know. Now this squeaky wheel has shown up, this pain, this ache, this ailment, this thing that is out of alignment within me, which could certainly be something like that that's physical, but also emotional, or the way that we are just feeling or not feeling. You know, that's another thing of just feeling blah and going through the motions and sort of checked out or just barely, you know, it really, you know, we've got a lot going on here with these other cards too that are showing that this is a time where these heavy energies must be felt. They're being processed. And so we are recalibrating and coming into a sense of balance and harmony or not, right? So if you're feeling out of alignment, again, congrats, you're right where you're meant to be, because that's the energies that we are in right now, right? That's the good news that I bring you. See, there's always a positive. So yeah, because this is a potential block or challenge, we look at when this is in a reversed energy or when it's in a challenge state. It indicates imbalance, excess or lack of moderation in your life. It could indicate a struggle to find harmony and to navigate conflicting energies. So then the guidance is to really pay attention to any areas of your life that are out of alignment and to take steps to restore harmony. Mindfully assess your choices. So, little bit of opposing guidance here, because on one hand, we're saying get into your heart, right? This is saying mindfully. So yes, the mind still plays a role. That's the thing. When you're having to tell that active mind at ease a little bit, they still have a role, it still has a role to play, right? So there's still an aspect of, yes, we need to use that mindfulness, but by bringing in and harmonizing with, again, the heart, the gut, connecting within. So there is this state of flow or a lack of flow that's coming into our awareness here. Perfect timing, full moon. We're ready to cleanse, clear, flush this out, release, let go, shed anything that's coming up for you. Just mindfully take a moment, jot it down, in any way that works for you. If you are joining me for the Virgo full moon reading, we're going to have a Virgo full moon ritual that I will share with you as well. And that's going to have a beautiful little practice you can do to cleanse and clear your physical body and also your space and set some intentions as well. So that again is going to be a part of the Empowerment Pack offer that I'm doing when you're with me for the March Empowerment Pack. You can receive this Virgo full moon reading as well as a bonus. And if you're already with me, I told you I'm going to have something else for you coming up. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look now at Wednesday for our midweek blessing. All right, Wednesday is bringing in our midweek blessing. And so in the flow of all the things, as we are finding our equilibrium and our balance and we're riding these waves, this is amazing because the King of Cups represents the embodiment of the cups suit in the tarot, which is water, flow, heart chakra, feels, emotions. So, okay, we're feeling all of this depth, or we're feeling this feeling of being trapped or limited, and we're not sure what to do, and there's this headsiness going on, and then we have this temperance energy coming in, urging us to find this sense of balance and harmony and flow. This is great news because the blessing here is that this is not your first rodeo, right? So this idea that each time I'm moving through these experiences, and if you're here listening to these messages, it's because you are tuning into the opportunity to use these tools in order to glean insight, awareness, guidance, wisdom. And so these are all things that will help you to. And I'm feeling here like the fact that this is really beautiful how we're seeing the flowers growing in from this cup. And so what I'm feeling is the fertilizer of the moving through all of this stuff that we're clearing out and having had these experiences is really creating this fertile ground for the new that is blooming in our lives that's coming forward. I did that a mini card pull over the weekend and sent out a little newsletter, and I shared it here in the Sharecast as well. It's on my YouTube channel, and I pulled 3 cards that were bringing us just some messages for these coming days. And the last card was the 7 of Pentacles that very much embodies that notion of there is stuff going on beneath the soil. There's things under the surface, a hem over here as well, that are germinating, gestating, incubating, coming forward, coming into bloom in the coming seasons that are moving in, and so this is feeling to me like, yes, all of this is all facilitating and creating this fertile ground to bring forward the new that you are creating in your life and that you're bringing forward. So the King of Cups brings forward emotional mastery, maturity, and intelligence. So it's an energy of taking a calm, empathetic, and wise approach to matters of the heart. So you have a strong ability to navigate your emotions and support others in a compassionate and understanding manner. So embrace your emotional intelligence, lead with kindness, and make decisions from a place of emotional stability. So this is the guidance that comes in as a blessing to utilize the stuff, that's coming up in order to embody fully this deeply feeling, emotionally intelligent aspect of you that's coming into bloom. So that feels really powerful. And this is what I'm saying, is that this does feel dark and heavy, right? We can feel that, and we're not turning away from that. We're looking at that and we're saying, making these lemons into lemonade includes, feeling it to heal it, right? Facing it and recognizing that these are all a form of abundance, right? Stay with me now. I know she is literally stabbed in the heart, right? Like, how is this a gift? Like I said, with my little mini examples, but it makes me laugh because even just the drama of the moment of being put out or in a situation that I don't want to be in or feels very limiting to me, and witnessing an aspect of myself have their moment, right, of feels about that. Maybe a little digging in of heels or smacking of the forehead or whatever way it expresses itself. And then suddenly now in hindsight, but again, as I'm picking up, as I go through these things, I'm practicing. I haven't figured this out yet. So if anybody has pointers on this one, is how to experience the news, the situation that comes about, or the circumstance or whatever it is that it puts us into a certain emotional state, to navigate that with grace and ease. I can still be feeling frustrated or irritated or unhappy in some way, or unsatisfied or limited or whatever, fill in the blank of a lower vibrational feel. It's how I express it. And that's what matters, is how I move the emotion. Not that the emotion itself is here, right? That's supposed to happen because we are here to experience it all. So there's duality. That's what this is telling us. That's what this is telling us, right? So we have these two major cards here, Temperance and the Chariot, both showing us duality, right? Two different aspects, two different extremes. So in order for us to have all the good stuff in equal measure, we're going to experience its opposite, right? So we have this way of, how am I going to experience it? And that's where the King of Cups is coming in as a blessing for us, as a guide for a way to embody flowing through those emotions with grace, ease, and then also when it comes to our connecting with others with a degree of compassion and kindness for witnessing how they may be moving through their particular feels, right? And recognizing that they may not have, this could be their first rodeo, or they may not have been gifted the awarenesses that you have. So how do we hold space for that too, while also protecting ourselves with some boundaries? So those are all things that are coming up that I think will probably continue to be expanded upon when we tap into the Virgo full moon here into the week. But let's go ahead and bring in Thursday's card now for how we are growing. All right, we are moving along here into Thursday's energy, which represents for us how we are growing. And we have this beautiful major arcana card, the Chariot. So a little flashback to 2023, the year of the Chariot. This is card 7. And so we talked about this a lot last year, about finding our balance here at the center of our vehicle as we roll forward, and bringing in this, sense of determination and ability to roll forward, moving through obstacles, even, the reroutes and the delays. I, use so many different analogies about our actual vehicles in our cars and transporting from here to there, and what it is that we can control from behind the driver's seat, and those things that are not in our control, and those different things that we may encounter in the way of traffic and road rage and construction and detours and all those things. How am I going to experience it? How am I taking this trip? So the Chariot brings in this energy that can also represent a degree of a victory, of something that's really successful and ready to roll, like ready, poised to move forward. And there's even some ambition or some, desire to get something going too. But there's a willpower, determination, and what I love that I'm seeing here in the Mystic Soul Tarot is some of these buzzwords. We keep hearing them, and that's because Aquarius. So, the chariots running horses symbolize independence, freedom, and confidence. So we're feeling this sense of like wild horses, right? I'm feeling this beautiful energy of just being poised to move forward. And again, they're free. They're not saddled. They're not saddled with anything. So there's this question that we're really building up to here as we move into this week about what is coming with me. What am I releasing and shedding before I move through this full moon in Virgo on Saturday? What are my intentions around what I'm taking and what I'm not? Because I just love the symbolism of them just being wild and free and not tethered or saddled literally with anything. Now, the castle behind them represents the triumphs that they've earned from their efforts. Like I said, it's not your first rodeo, right? King of Cups coming in here. There's the castle. We have this treasure trove of goodies that we've gathered through our experiences in the muck, through the struggle. We have gleaned a lot of abundance, right? We have these tools. We have this wisdom and insight and awareness that we've gathered through these experiences. So it's a card that also reminds us, as we are growing into these energies, the importance of self-discipline, resilience, and a clear sense of purpose. It encourages you to tap into your personal power, maintain focus, and embrace challenges as stepping stones toward your desired outcomes. By embodying the qualities of the chariot, you can navigate through life with strength, big buzzword for 2024, the year of the Strength card, and determination. You have the power to overcome obstacles and achieve success. Let this card serve as a reminder to stay strong, stay on course, and trust in your own capabilities. There it is again. Trust, right? Boom. Trust in your own, fill in the blank, capabilities. Trust in your own divine wisdom, right? Trust in your heart and your feels and connect within. And even more so, and we're making our way into that moon card where we'll talk more. We've got the Moonology cards back here as well supporting us. The first one saying, you are good enough. And the other one, take inspired action. That's awesome because that's what this card is. It is taking action. And where are we taking it from? We're taking it from this abundant place that is rooted and grounded and centered in our own self-awareness, trusting in our own abilities, coming from a place of freedom, of independence, of, self-determination. That's amazing, right? So we're not saying that this weather doesn't exist, right? And that we're not seeing these things in our atmosphere or in and around us, but we're using those things and we're allowing those things to inform where to from here and using our own discernment to determine how am I going to take this journey? Because yes, if I wanted to do this, right, that's a choice that I can make. And it could be a really tempting one, especially when it's particularly heavy and challenging and difficult. So yes, that is one perspective, right? This is one. But so is all this, right? And so it's all coming forward for us to take in, right? To receive and allow ourselves to move that through our own filters, using our own discernment and empowered with choice, right? So that's also another indicator of the 7 energy here of the Chariot, is this choice where we have this option to roll forward, bringing together the best of all of these things. I love it. I love the balance, the flow, the moderation, all the things coming in with our Temperance and Chariot, supporting us from that significant major arcana standpoint, and then allowing these other things to fill in the people, places, and things that make up the journey, right? But ultimately it comes back to us in the center, right? So let's finish out the week with that Friday card, and then we will get into those full moon messages. Okay, now as we come into Friday's energy, which is sort of wrapping up the week and giving us this punctuation point. Yeah, okay, I'd say it. We got the point. It's literally been driven through the heart here, right? We see this 3 of Swords. So swords representing the air element and our thoughts, our beliefs, our stories, the things going on in the head, but also directly through the heart. So here's that connection point, right? So there's a number of different ways we can look at this, because on one hand, this is like, yeah, definitely get that head and heart together, you know? And yes, the road to get there may have been quite dicey. You know, this is, you can see there's this gray sky and rain falling, and there's this, you know, energy of weather, heavy weather that's been experienced perhaps to get to this point. But yet we know that on the other side of the storm comes the rainbow, right? That silver lining. Now, specifically what this is feeling connected to for me is, and I would have mentioned this a couple weeks ago because it began on February 11th, okay? But it's something that is absolutely running in the program right now. I say in the background, but it's rather significant. Chiron. Okay. When I see this kind of heartbreak, this piercing, this wounding, you know, and the cracks that have been made in order to allow the light to come in, it brings me into Chiron, right? The asteroid that is the wounded healer. So I want to share with you again what the heck is going on behind the scenes, behind those clouds, so we can kind of bring some perspective in here. Chiron conjunct the North Node. So on February 11th, we noted this as one of the highlight events of 2024. The North Node, which indicates our collective future, where we are heading, and it's perhaps a predictor of what we could all be best served to be focusing on and where we need to head in order to keep progressing to the highest level of consciousness. Chiron is the asteroid of the wounded healer. Chiron doesn't pretend that it doesn't have a wound, right? Or that there's traumas. Yes, they are. I see it. I'm in it. I'm not denying the presence of these wounds and traumas and very real struggles, right? But rather, and this is why I love this energy so much and always feel so connected to the great healing and wisdom that it offers us, instead, it channels them into powerful portals of wisdom, intuition, and teaching. Because Chiron reminds us that we can learn, grow, and blossom from our wounds, and that our wounds can be a source of healing and power in our lives. So what has happened here is happening is that Chiron and the North Node coming together brings forward a healing or a need to step into our healing powers, our innate power to heal ourselves from within. So that is front and center here as a key component to these energies that we're bringing here together collectively and that we're seeing play out. So hopefully here with this alignment, we will begin to see the end of suffering. And more specifically, as we bring the lens out into the collective, the end of suffering in communities and countries that are in need and beyond. Okay. And the fact that, like I said, if it's not happening in my atmosphere, I am a part of the collective whole that it is happening. It's raining somewhere, right? And I am a part of that whole. And so it does affect me, even if I can't, it's not tangible. It's not something that I can even quite put my finger on. We cannot underestimate the heaviness that you might be feeling or the way that you are receiving these energies right now as being a part of your sensitivity to the collective suffering, right? So there is that running here, at all times as well. And, give yourself a moment to allow that to sort of settle, because sometimes, again, when we're in the head, we're looking for some explanation, some logical from point A to B to C that I can link this up and explain. Why am I feeling this way? Why am I so tired? Why am I so checked out? Why do I feel, this way or the other way? Whatever it is. There's so many different multi-dimensional components going on. And this is where, if you are really feeling that there is an opportunity for deeper healing or a session or something more comprehensive, which certainly from what I do, I would be happy to help and connect with you. But certainly it could be room for you to bring in an opportunity for some deeper work or healing as well. But this Three of Swords, wrapping it all up for us, I'm really feeling connected into this Chiron in the North Node, definitely processing, this connection between head and heart. And just in general, how the Three of Swords can highlight for us, certainly, heartbreak, sorrow, deep emotional pain. So it can represent for us that it's a time for honoring grief. You could be moving through a difficult emotional period, perhaps feeling hurt or betrayed by someone or something. So the guidance is to acknowledge your pain and allow yourself to grieve. Take your time, listen to your inner wisdom, and discover what you need to do next for healing and resolution. Then you can rebuild and move forward with resilience. So even if we read this whole thing backwards, right? This has to happen before we roll forward, right? Before I can go out there, I was going to say balls to the wall. So let's say that, balls to the wall, pedal to the metal, however you want to go. Before you do that, we move through these feels. We have to feel it to heal it, right? Can I say that one more time? We have to feel it to heal it. So let's feel this thing, right? Move this thing. That's what I'm feeling for us. So that's wrapping us up on that note. But we're going to move now into a little bit about this full moon in Virgo happening on Saturday the 24th and this beautiful Queen of the Moon oracle message that has come forward. So let's take a look. All right. So we've got the Virgo full moon happening on February 24th. Saturday, depending on where you are in the world, times will vary. But this is a beautiful full moon in the sign of Virgo, and it might feel a little heavy, as I was saying, because one of the aspects that is supporting this full moon is Saturn. Saturn is nearby, and Saturn is the planet of responsibility. It's the master teacher. So there is this, let's say the ducks have come home to roost, right? They've come home. So everything has come up to be dealt, to be felt, right? Taking responsibility. So there is this very potentially strong nudge to take responsibility for our actions and really face how we truly feel about something. Saturn, being that master teacher of the zodiac, wants us to level up and step into our highest karma. So very often Saturn brings challenges to keep us moving and growing. Well, fits right in here, right? We may feel these challenges rising up under this full moon. Well, I think we've seen that already with the cards that we brought through collectively today. So it's going to be important for us to set boundaries and to keep coming back to this idea of responsibility, right? I'm behind the wheel. What am I responsible for? I'm taking full responsibility for my healing. I'm taking responsibility for my journey, right? And so this moon then also being in the sign of Virgo is still bringing us this soft, sensitive, and beautiful energy, being in touch here with the Virgo, with the Virgin goddess. So all of that energy of connecting in with ourself, with our self-worth, with our bodies, with our health, connecting in that way. And so it really is a good time for us to look at our habits and our routines and take a look at how we can create perhaps a daily schedule that supports our health and our well-being. So that's something I'm definitely going to be expanding on in the full moon reading for the Empowerment Pack. We're going to touch on the energies here with this oracle message that's come forward for all of us collectively, but this is the reading I'll be doing this week where we will definitely be going deeper. I'm still looking for a spread that really speaks to me, that I feel is going to really connect with some powerful intentions for this full moon. So when you join me for that reading, and again, if you want to come along for the March Empowerment Pack, you will automatically receive this reading as a bonus. Or if you are already with me for the February Empowerment Pack, we'll be doing that spread. And then I pull cards just for you. You and I talk about any intentions you're setting with this full moon, what you're looking to shed, release, forgive, or whatever's coming up for you. And we pull some personal cards as well to go with that spread. So that link I put there in the prior polo note here, or if you're watching this on one of my social media spaces, it will be in the caption or in my bio. Always, you can just reach out and message me. I don't want to make it confusing, but that is available, and I'd love to have you come along. So now we look into this energy that's come forward as trust. Card 32. So as I mentioned, it's carrying the vibration and frequency of the number 5, which is, of course, change. And it is bringing in a degree of chaos, confusion, tumultuous times that we are navigating. And that all may have us wanting to curl up into the fetal position in our nest and just sleep, rest, be gentle with ourselves. And so that may absolutely be something that's coming up for you. I know that, me trying to bring naps into my day has been crucial to keep up my energy and to be able to continue to get all the ducklings where they need to be. So when able to, right, creating space for that where we can, when we can. And remember that 8 of Swords. If you've got naysaying going on right in your head right now, like, yeah, sure, a nap, that sounds amazing. I'd love that. But stop it right there. That's the 8 of Swords coming in, trying to block us and have us see where there's a lack at every turn. We are endeavoring to go beyond that, right? And to utilize these things, seeking out the abundance always, in all ways. So the trust card comes forward with the mantra. It is beginning, and I trust myself. It is the beginning, and I trust myself in all things. So yeah, this is like this inception point, right? There's this something that's incubating. We're in this very vulnerable beginning state, perhaps. Trust yourself, develop self-trust, and joy will follow. You can rely on your own capabilities. Begin to plan carefully for the future. Apart from the trust that we might develop spiritually with our higher power, self-trust is the basis of all other trust. Self-trust is a surety that we can rely upon ourselves, that our decisions are valid, that we ourselves matter, that knowing ourselves combined with trusting ourselves leads to better, more informed decisions about all aspects of our life, including career and relationships. Self-trust is far more than a flashy show of confidence. It is deeper and farther reaching than that. It is security at the very core, that no matter what, our wisdom matters, and it is what is best, ultimately, is our wisdom, right? It allows for flow and for faith in oneself and the way you do things, moving and choosing in the world. I always love when Stacey DeMarco uses that phrase in this book, moving and choosing. There's other cards in this deck that talk about, I am enjoying moving and choosing, moving and choosing. This is that ebb and flow. This is that yin and yang. This is those aspects that we are harmonizing and bringing into balance and equilibrium. Self-trust is a full acceptance of self. As accepting oneself becomes easier, thus self-trust will begin to shine. This gives great momentum to anything we choose to tackle or do. Our ancestors saw spring, the great thawing, as a new beginning. They would walk the marshes and plains and find newly laid eggs. More than just a symbol of fertility and new hope, the eggs meant that the worst of the cold was over and that new life really was here. and this is a card that highlights the egg moon. So that's what's being highlighted here, that the egg moon was a time of celebration and rejoicing. So, what I'm taking from that, and of course, depending on where you are in the world, in the Northern Hemisphere, you may or may not be counting down to spring. Like I said, I said over the weekend in my newsletter message, like, yeah, I'm officially good. I've checked my winter boxes. The kids played in the snow. We did all the wintry things. And I'm definitely someone that seeks out the warmth and the sun and the green and all the things. So while preaching, being present and being in flow, and I do think that's very important, yes, there's an aspect of me that's very excited for the incoming spring and the rebirth that's coming forward. So I feel like that this is the vibration of that energy of really feeling into the idea that things are being birthed and reborn, and that prior to that happening, there is a lot of hope and faith and trust that's called for once again when we're unable to see the fruit yet. Right? So we're in this dark incubation period, similar to like the butterfly, before becoming the butterfly in the cocoon, in that metamorphosis state, literally turning to mush, in order to transform. And in that moment, that in the cocoon, they don't know that they're going to emerge the beautiful butterfly, right? So there's this energy of trust and allowing for whatever stage we are in and being where we are. So here in this moment, as we move into this Virgo full moon energy this week, we have this opportunity to really lean into all of these energies that have been presenting themselves for us here through this frequency of change, to allow for us to bring in these energies of trust and more importantly, self-trust. That's really being highlighted here. Not just trust in self. And that's what the Virgo energy is also really pulling us into, is you are good enough, right? You can move forward and take inspired action because you are moving through all of your wounds and all of the things that have brought you here to this moment, your traumas and all of it. And you're processing it, you're doing the work, and you're turning it into gold. You're spinning it into a thing of real beauty and something that's quite powerful. So this is an opportunity for you to really spend some time looking at that and honoring that, through that new expanded perspective that you're being invited to step into. So I hope these messages have resonated for you this week or as we move through. I always love to hear how they may be showing up for you. Thank you so much. I know there's a few of you that already are on the docket for a card pull this week. I'm going to start working on those and certainly will definitely be getting into it tomorrow if I have a little bit of time here to start those, and then we'll be moving into tomorrow. But I thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much for the energy exchanges. Those are always appreciated. And also, if you're interested in the special, again, book by the 24th, by Saturday, in order to claim your bonus reading as well. So come along for March because there's more to come on the other side of that full moon, and I can't wait to explore all of that with you. So wishing you guys a beautiful full moon week, and we will talk soon. Much love.